Αγαπητές φίλες και φίλοι, καλώς ήρθατε σε ένα ακόμη επεισόδιο NLP Talks από το Athens NLP Studies. Είμαι η Ελεάνα, πιστοποιημένη εκπαιδεύτρια νευρογλωσσικού προγραμματισμού της μεθόδου Timeline Therapy και της ύπνωσης και συνδημιουργός του Athens NLP Studies. Τα επεισόδια NLP Talks είναι διαθέσιμα στο Spotify και στο YouTube και στο σημερινό επεισόδιο που αφορά το πώς, εξελίσσοντας και διευρύνοντας το mindset, τη στάση και τη συμπεριφορά σας, θα μπορέσετε να αναπτύξετε το ταξίδι σας στον επιχειρηματικό και επαγγελματικό κόσμο. Και δεν θα μπορούσα να κάνω αυτό το επεισόδιο και να μην έχω μαζί μου δύο ανθρώπους που έχουν βάλει το λιθαράκι τους στη δική μου επαγγελματική πορεία. Είναι μεντορές μου και τους θαυμάζω απεριόριστα, γιατί αν δεν ήταν για εκείνους να εμφανιστούν ή να τους εμφανίσω, να τους κάνω manifested, δεν θα ήμουν στη θέση που είμαι τώρα και μάλιστα να έχω την τιμή να τους γνωρίσω και σε εσάς. Μιλάω για τους γνωστούς στο διεθνές στερέωμα του NLP και του coaching, Conor Healy και Kallum Hock ή Kallum Hock και Conor Healy. Αν ασχολείστε με το συγκεκριμένο χώρο επαγγελματικά, σίγουρα τους έχετε δει ή τους έχετε ακούσει ή κάποιος σας τους έχει αναφέρει. Θα σας τους παρουσιάσω επιγραμματικά, γιατί θα τα πούμε πιο αναλυτικά στη συζήτησή μας. Με μία φήμη βασισμένη στην επιτυχία, ο συνιδρυτής του Connekt Coaching, Conor, έχει αφήσει έναν εξίτηλο στίγμα στον τομέα της προσωπικής και επαγγελματικής ανάπτυξης. Για 20 χρόνια ήταν ένα από τα Golden Boys του νούμερο 1 διεθνώς εκπαιδευτικού κέντρου στο χώρο του NLP Coaching και της ύπνωσης. Είναι εκεί που πήγα εγώ σχολείο. Αφήνει τους πάντες με το στόμα ανοιχτό με τις managerial δεξιότητές του, μιας και η ευφυΐα στο να δημιουργεί την επιτυχία στη διεθνή business αρένα είναι πρωτοφανής. Η επαφή του με πολλές διαφορετικές κουλτούρες έχει αποτελέσει πυλώνα στην δημιουργία ενός οράματος απεριόριστων πιθανοτήτων. Το πάθος του για την επαγγελματική ανάπτυξη μέσω της τέχνης των πωλήσεων και το απίστευτο ταλέντο του να συνδέεται και να συνδέει ανθρώπους με ευθυγραμμισμένους στόχους έχει φέρει αξιοσημείωτα αποτελέσματα τόσο στην καριέρα των άλλων όσο και στη δική του. Ο έτερος συνιδρυτής του Connekt Coaching, Kallum Hock, είναι ένας από τους νεότερους εκπαιδευτές στο NLP στο επίπεδο του Master Trainer. Κίνητρό του είναι η σύνδεση. Ο Kallum πάντα ήθελε να αριστεύσει στον τομέα της δημόσιας ομιλίας, της παρουσίασης και των εκπαιδεύσεων, έτσι ώστε να μαγνητίζει το κοινό του, όποιο και αν είναι αυτό. Έχει διεξάγει με επιτυχία πολλές εκπαιδεύσεις στη ΣΥΠΑ, αλλά και γενικά σε όλο το πλανήτη, μιας και είμαστε στην ψηφιακή εποχή. Έχει εκπαιδεύσει χιλιάδες εκπαιδευτές και coaches στο πώς να ξεκινήσουν και να αναπτύξουν τη δική τους επιχείρηση. Περίεργος με την καλή και επικοδομητική έννοια και πολυταξιδεμένος, έχει περάσει πάνω από 700 νύχτες μέσα σε 11 χρόνια σε 31 χώρες. Αυτό που έμαθε από τα ταξίδια του στον κόσμο ήταν το πώς η κουλτούρα, οι άνθρωποι και τα μέρη μπορούν να βοηθήσουν και να ενεργοποιήσουν τη δημιουργικότητα και την αλλαγή του mindset. Η εταιρεία τους, Connekt Coaching, με έδρα την Αυστραλία, είναι ένα υψηλό προδιαγραφών διεθνές εκπαιδευτικό κέντρο που παρέχει μια ποικιλία προγραμμάτων και σας βοηθούν να γοητεύσετε, να εμπνεύσετε και να κάνετε τη διαφορά στον τομέα σας πετυχαίνοντας σπουδαία πράγματα. Με πάνω από 30 χρόνια εμπειρία στον τομέα των επιχειρήσεων, της εκπαίδευσης και του coaching, είμαι σίγουρη ότι σήμερα είστε στα καλύτερα χέρια. Σε αυτό το σημείο θέλω να πω ότι η συζήτηση, όπως καταλαβαίνετε, είναι στα αγγλικά, απλά αγγλικά, ωστόσο αγγλικά. Στην παρούσα φάση, ως ανεξάρτητο podcast, τα εφόδια μου είναι αυτά που είναι. Ξέρετε ότι θέλω πάντα να σας φέρνω αξία σε αυτά που ακούτε εδώ. Δεν υπάρχουν υπότιτλοι στα ελληνικά. Στο μέλλον που το podcast μου θα είναι το νούμερο 1 podcast στην Ελλάδα και εκτός, στον τομέα της ανθρώπινης αριστείας, αυτό θα σημαίνει ότι θα έχω τους πόρους για κάτι καλύτερο και να είστε σίγουροι ότι θα το κάνω. Ο καθένας κάνει ό,τι μπορεί με όσα μέσα έχει διαθέσιμα και αυτή είναι μια μεγάλη αλήθεια που όλοι μας πρέπει να αποδεχτούμε. Όταν θα μπορώ περισσότερα για να έχετε μια καλύτερη εμπειρία θα το κάνω και σας ευχαριστώ πολύ που είστε εδώ και έχετε αγκαλιάσει αυτό το podcast. Δεν θα μακρηγορήσω άλλο. Σας εύχομαι να απολαύσετε τη συζήτησή μας και να έχετε ένα τετράδιο σημειώσεων μαζί σας, γιατί το σημερινό επεισόδιο είναι masterclass. Είναι υψηλού επίπεδου εκπαίδευση. Θα ακούσετε ανθρώπους και πράγματα που δεν έχετε ξανακούσει και αν τα σημειώσετε θα μπορέσετε να τα χρησιμοποιήσετε και εσείς. Hey guys, I'm so thrilled to have you on my podcast. Welcome to NLP Talks, a Greek podcast. And as Greeks, we are known for our hospitality, so please feel at home. And it's an honor to have both of you here. And I cannot wait, and the listeners cannot wait to listen to and learn all the things you will share with us today. So, FYI, I have a notebook here. Because let's be honest, today's episode is a masterclass for all entrepreneurs, professionals, and business owners that want to make a difference in 2024. So I'm going to keep notes all along. And if you see that I'm not participating too much, this is because I'm monotasking and taking notes only, and you can carry on the conversation, I'm sure, without me. So welcome.
Thanks, Anna. Thank you very much. Great to be here.
To be honest, I'm a bit nervous because, as I told you, it's the first time that I'm doing this in English. And okay, I know English, but now I feel that I know nothing, like Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. So I have briefly introduced you in the beginning of the episode. And I want all of us here to know more about you and to connect to all the learnings we are going to receive from today's episode. So, Conor, may I start with you? Because you are the one responsible for allowing me to experience the best and most difficult thing in my life back in 2019, and that was the trainer's training in Las Vegas. You booked me, and I'm a forever grateful client. So, as a professional, how did you become so excellent in the art of connecting with others through the sales process and be able to successfully build long-lasting relationships with people?
Gosh, Eliana, that's a really, really good question. I think my upbringing, let's start at the very beginning. I grew up in many different countries in the world. And from a young age, I moved around every 2, 3, 4 years because of my dad's work. He was in advertising, and every time we moved to a new country, it was like a promotion for him. And as a result, I went to many, many different schools in a number of different countries, particularly in Southeast Asia, so Hong Kong and Korea. And in the moving and meeting new people, I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed meeting new cultures. I enjoyed understanding why a particular culture produced a certain sort of behavior, what the customs were, what the society was. And then we moved to New Zealand, and I in 1993, and I still had that excitement to meet new people, but New Zealand's very small. And so going to an all-boys school for some of my teenage years, it sort of, dulled the flame a little bit. And then when I did my last 2 years of high school at a different school, and it then reopened and reignited my passion for meeting people, because it was a co-education school, and a lot of the students who were there had plans of going overseas, going to London, going to Europe, and it just had a different feel about it, and the mindset of the students were different. It was much more global. So I spent a year at Auckland University and found it very challenging because I didn't feel that I belonged there. So then I came across to Australia and studied hospitality and hotel management, in which I finished my degree. And as a result of hospitality and hotel management, I traveled around the world. So I lived in Queensland, in a different part of Australia. I lived in London. I lived in Sweden for a year and a half. So I got to travel the world. And when we went traveling, meeting new people. So from a young age, I loved hospitality in my career. The hospitality, I loved waiting on a table and entertaining people and making the host laugh and cracking jokes and getting that rapport. At the time, I had no idea what I was doing in regards to how valuable this would be in my life, but I was really forging how to build quick rapport with people, whether it's in a 5-star hotel, fine dining restaurant, in a pub. I mean, in Sweden, I was DJing and pouring beers and making cocktails. But it was all rapport. Everything was rapport and making a connection with someone. And I refined that when I learned NLP. So that was always a I always enjoyed doing it, but when I learned NLP in 2004, it was when I really started to refine it and make it into a process, make it into, okay, what unconscious patterns and behaviors and thoughts that I have within myself, what is that? And as we know, NLP was created through modeling. How can you take a model of excellence and then have someone else produce that same behavior? So when we unpacked it, we realized what was happening. And really, when I meet people and I connect with someone, I'm not just meeting them for the sake of meeting them. My purpose is to actually connect with them. And I generally enjoy that interaction with them. And I want to find out about them. I want to find out what makes them tick. I want to find out what holds them back in their life. I want to find out what their goals and aspirations are. And I want to find out where they are and help them bridge that gap between where they are now and what success looks like for them. So being able to talk with someone on that level lights me up. And in order to talk to someone on that level, you have to build a deep level of rapport so that the guard is down and people trust you and they trust you enough to tell you things that they would maybe not tell anyone else, but they feel comfortable enough with you because they can feel that you're with them in the conversation. And your intention is to see them operate at a higher level. And coming back to your question, which I think I'm answering, I've always enjoyed people. And when I was in the hospitality industry, it really lit up. And then when I learned NLP, I was able to put it into a process almost. But here's the deal. Rapport and connection has to come from the heart. Like you have to feel it. So learning the process for the purpose of feeling is a bit of like learning something disassociated for the process, but then having a kinesthetic, a feeling. You have to learn it inside and out. And then it becomes part of you and you become unconsciously competent with it. And when you are unconsciously competent with it in the learning phase, then it kicks in and you find the conversations you have are much deeper. You find the trust that people have with you goes through the roof. And because you know people better, you start believing in them and their growth because I get it why you're in this position. And I can see how you're going to get your goals in life. So then being trained in NLP, you become a master at helping people bridge that gap with that. So I hope that answers your question. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, what a great answer. You took us to different places, but yes, you answered the question and I totally agree because, you have the talent of building rapport, all of us, unconsciously, and then you learn the process. And as you practice the process and you use it for yourself and for others, you create the outstanding and you can predict outstanding results for whatever reason you want to achieve these results. So thank you very much for that. And Kallum, you're 36, right? This is what I read on your bio.
I was 36 when I became a master trainer. So that was a few years ago now. I'm turning 40 this year. So
okay.
In November, turning 40. When I turned 36, I became a master trainer. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was the youngest practicing master trainer in the world. Certified, I think I was the last certified master trainer by Dr. Tad James before he passed away. So that was really nice because, I'd spent the last 7 or 8 years studying everything that he'd put out. It was great to be able to do that under his guidance and learn from who I believe to be the best in the industry at the time.
Yeah. So, you start your professional journey early. And I find this pretty amazing because it seems that you had awareness and curiosity about personal and professional growth and a lot of innovative ideas of how professionals can present anything, including themselves, and build their authority. So where did that come from? What influenced you to take this path?
Yeah, look, I was fortunate enough to have a great mentor and a great person to look up to. My father, he was just a great guy that was very well respected by our community. I grew up in a town that only had 6,000 people that lived there, and everybody knew each other. Everybody, relied on each other for many different things, and there was a lot of just common social skills that I learned from being in that environment, and from learning different common courtesies that don't seem to be as common these days. But one of the things that I loved about my dad the most was how passionate he was about what he did. He was a plumber by trade. He had his own plumbing business. And, he used to wake up in the morning and he'd literally jump out of bed to get into the day. Well before the sun would come up, he would be out getting the day ready, whether that be making breakfast for the family or whether he'd be out tending to the work trucks, planning out the day for, the men that worked with him. And I wanted that. I wanted that same drive and that same passion. And I didn't feel that way through high school. I didn't feel that way through university. And even later when I fell back into doing my trade as a plumber as well, I never felt that strong passion for what I did. In fact, many days that I woke up, I was wishing my days away. I was waiting for the weekend. When I got into the mining and gas industry, eventually I was working on a 7 days on roster, and then you'd have 7 days off. So I'd begrudgingly go to work for that 7 days, and the whole time I'd be thinking about my life that was going to start on my 7 days off. So at some point on that journey, I realized that I was essentially wishing more than half of my life away. My dad passed away in 2011, and that kind of struck me because he was quite young when he passed away, but it struck me because I thought, I don't want to, nothing in life is guaranteed, and I don't want to live a life where I'm wishing half of it away. Growing up through that time in that small little town, I had a very strong interest in personal development, and a lot of that often leads to spiritual development. And, I traveled around the world a couple of times to find out my purpose. And it took me, you say I started my career young, but for me, it felt like I took a really, really long time to figure out what my purpose was. And it was some words that my dad left me with that really hit home and really made me, I guess, go on those adventures around the world. And that was, he said, if you want to find out what your purpose is, Kallum, you need to figure out what you're passionate about and find out how you can use that passion to help people. And he said, when you find that passion, you find out how you can use that to help people, that's your purpose. So for a long time, I thought traveling was my purpose. I lived in London for a while. I traveled through Europe. I went to your beautiful country in Greece. I went to Ios, Santorini, and Crete. Had a lovely time there. And then came home and then went over to South America and went on a bit of a spiritual pilgrimage through South America to find myself. And you talk about the awareness that I had. It was very much built upon through all of the different people that I met, all the different cultures I was exposed to, and all the different experiences that I had through those big chunks of travel, because I wouldn't go away for a couple of weeks. This was 12 months at a time. I'd go to, I was in Europe for 12 months and I came home and I went to South America for 12 months. So through that time, I met people that were living in the middle of the Amazon jungle, the natives of that area, all the way through to some really high-level corporate CEOs and doctors that were backpacking around just with their backpack just to, unplug for a little while. So I got exposed to a lot of different people and different ideas and different ways of thinking and different lifestyles. And somewhere along the line on that trip, I found that what I loved the most was to inspire people. I love to have conversations with people, find out what their dreams are, and help them to believe in them again. And a big part of that process was often to get them to take that idea off the shelf, dust it off, and believe in it again. And I found that I was really good at that. And I was really good at not only inspiring them, but tell them stories that help them to feel motivated and excited about a future that could be bright. You can't see it, but behind me, I've got a flip chart which says the future is bright. It's one of our taglines now, unintentionally. But I think that sometimes when we do get caught up in life early on, we often go down a path that we fall into because we feel like we have to get a job, we have to go to university, or we have to make money, and we often put our passions to the side. And, for better or worse, at the early parts of my life, I decided that I wanted what my dad had. I wanted that passion. I wanted to wake up every morning jumping out of bed. And I thought at that point, when I found myself inspiring these people, that I wanted to do something in psychology. And I actually, while I was in Central America, I remember I was in Honduras, I was getting my dive ticket on Utila Island, and I just came back from a dive, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the internet cafe and sign up to my university degree again and finish off a psychology degree. And that's what I had planned to do. I flew back to Australia. I arrived home and went to a barbecue, and a good friend of mine was there, and he recommended that I listen to some CDs with this American guy on there that was talking a lot of the same language that he and I had talked about growing up. And a lot of it was loosely based around ideas in psychology and, Carl Jung's ideas and behavioral psychologist ideas. And I thought, what the hell, I'll give it a go. I'll listen to it. And I remember listening to it in my car as I was driving out to work one day, and I was like, oh my God, this guy is speaking my language. He literally knows the way that I perceive the world, the way that I think about it, the way that I experience it. And that's kind of how I tap into other people's mindsets and help them get re-inspired by what they do. And that was Dr. Tad James. I then rang the Sydney office, and spoke to a lovely Irish lady called Rosemary. And she convinced me to literally, I was only intending at that point to do the NLP practitioner training, and she had different ideas. She obviously also wanted to inspire me about my vision and my future and what was possible. So she signed me up to the practitioner, the master practitioner, and the trainer's training in one hit. And literally, by the time I got to Master Prac, I knew that I wanted to not just coach people one-on-one, but I wanted to train a large audience. I thought that the best way that I could have the biggest impact on the world was to not just inspire people on a one-on-one basis, but to inspire as many people as possible and encourage them to go after their dreams and to dust off those, visions that they had, that they put on the shelf. And it doesn't matter what age they are. And we can talk about a story about Cliffy Young later. He was an ultra marathon runner in Australia that started his career running at 60 years old. So I don't believe that there's a point in your life where you have to give up on those goals. But I wanted to be able to do that on scale. I wanted to be able to do that with large groups. And for me, the fastest pathway to do that was to start to become a trainer and then become a master trainer and start to teach groups. And then fortunately, I had a great conversation with Conor somewhere along the line at the perfect time. And he invited me to come on board with the Tad James Company team. Tad then asked me to train for him both in Australia and in the USA. And that was really what got me so excited about training people and human beings and helping them evolve, helping them grow, helping them develop. And from that, and we talked a little bit about this offline, but, what else can we do with this framework? How else can we create a huge impact on the planet? And how can we help other people connect with their purpose through finding their passion and how they can use that to help people? And that's how Connekt Coaching was born. So, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and thank you so much for sharing your journey until now, both of you, because you are a dynamic team. I would like to hear your thoughts on this question, given that you help so many people grow their business and give them tremendous success in sales. How do you look at this? I'm asking because many people see business as systems, processes, and numbers. And instead, you look at business more inside the person and how they think and what potentials do they have and how they can reach their vision and achieve their goals. So how can someone use their mindset, how they think, to grow their business?
Well, great question. I think there were two questions in there. One of them is, a lot of people see businesses as systems and numbers and processes. And we could see business that way. But we actually had a conversation about this the other day, Callum, and it's more fun for us to see it beyond just the numbers. We feel, because we love raising people up to new levels, the business is important, but what we love doing is what drives us to do whatever we need to do to help someone become successful. So we both know if you create a forever client who then creates a forever business model, that is what's going to allow you. So all the spreadsheets in the world actually mean nothing unless you're driving and delivering content, value, and actually helping businesses grow, or you're delivering on the promise that you deliver. And it's very easy to get caught up in the numbers. But for us personally, we get caught up in the passion, and the numbers come. And yes, we're very conscious of the numbers, but that's only a small part of how we do business. We know the numbers will be there. We know the more people we can help become prosperous, the more prosperous we will become. And we figured that out many, many years ago, is the more you can help someone create a profitable business that they love doing for the longevity of however long they want to have it for, you will be forever busy, because you'll get referrals, you'll countless number of success stories, which we have. And that passion that we have in order to do that is actually what lights us up over and above the dollars and the cents. If we wanted to get into a business that was strictly numbers based, real estate, for example, is huge in Australia. You can make a lot of money as a real estate agent. And that's very much, of course, there's a human side to it, but it is a lot about the figures. And if we wanted to approach a business in that way, it just wouldn't light us up. We love what we do because we light up every day. We get out of bed every day and go, awesome, we get to change someone's trajectory for the rest of their life today. And we get to do that tomorrow. And then that person is going to change the trajectory of someone else's life for the rest of their life. And there's this ripple effect. And that's why the future is absolutely bright. And another tagline is making a difference. So make a difference. And that's where it stems from. Speaking on behalf of Callum and myself, I'm not too sure, Cal.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think my take on that is that we're in the business of change, and humans change, and human relationships and human connection. And that's where Connekt Coaching comes from. It's the connection first. And people, human beings, are very much at the center and at the heart of our business. It's the human heartbeats on the other side of our business that make our business run. It also provides us with a business that we love to come to every day and work. It also provides us with a great lifestyle and help support our family. Like Conor said, the ripple effects that it causes for our clients and their clients. But again, people are at the center of that. And I think the key is to have the systems and the processes support the people, not the people supporting the systems and the processes. And whenever we put in place a new piece of automation or a new system or a new standard operating procedure, the first thing that we ask ourselves is, does this support us? Does it support our clients? And is it also fitting within the constraints? And what I mean by that is our boundaries, so to speak, of how we want our business to operate. If it fits those things, then sure, we'll add it in. But if we would be better off having a human being be the point in between, then we'll have a human being instead. I'm a big believer at the moment, and I've been seeing this for a little while now, especially with the coaching industry, because there's a very low bar to get into the coaching field and high profit margins. So you're seeing a huge influx of people into it. And that's not a bad thing. But what I do believe is that it is starting to get a little bit washed out of sorts with what people are offering. So many people offering seemingly similar things, but not getting the same results. And what I truly believe with the coaching and also the training industry, trust and reliability is the currency of the future. And we look at that formula whenever we're making decisions in our business, because if any of the decisions that we make erode trust or erode our ability to deliver, therefore eroding our reliability, then we know that that's only going to damage us long term, because that's what's going to drive people forward, and that's what's going to keep people coming back to Connekt Coaching in the future, is that trust and reliability, because they'll see our brand and know that we deliver every time. And we do that with that level of connection where we put people at the heart of it, because it's the human heartbeats, like I said, that drive our business forward. So I think that's a really key formula to think about when you are in the coaching business, and especially if you're thinking about putting systems in place. Do they support your clients? Do they support you? And are you eroding any of those key elements in the formula? Because to make one point, there's a lot of AI being brought into coaching at the moment, and also training. And I love everything tech. I love everything digital. But if you at some point work within this industry that's all based on the human being that you're working with, the people on the other side, and you start to make it too digital, and you start to, and I've seen this happen, by the way, where people have these elaborate communities where everything's automated and everything's just, this video, you do 1.0, then you do 1.1, then you do 1.2, then you do 1.3 video, and, then you move on. I think it can become a little bit cold, and it can become a little bit too digital and almost too robotic. And that's not why I got into this at all. This for me is about personal transformation. And that's why we're breaking through, I think, with our methodology, with the Forever Client Matrix, because it shows people that you can do the transaction without it being icky and yucky and sleazy. You can do the transaction and it be a transformational experience where both parties are winning at the same time. And from that first interaction, people are actually breaking through, because you've been able to break through their core resistance and find out what their one thing at the very deep soul of their being is holding them back. And often they haven't even been willing to admit that to themselves. And all of a sudden, through this relationship that you've built on this very first phone call, you've been able to break through to that. They're just blown away by what you've been able to uncover, because they've been keeping it secret from themselves. And all of a sudden, the future is bright again. They believe in their vision. They believe in themselves, and they know that you're the obvious choice to help take them there. So, whenever I'm thinking about systems, or when Conor and I discuss these things, that's the formula that we keep in mind, and we like to keep clients and the human being center of our business.
Great. It sounds like a really effective way to get results in business is passion, trust, and putting people first. So, as you mentioned, when I attended your training, Connekt and Convert, back in November, one of the things I found fascinating was how to identify when a potential customer has resistance, and how to elegantly help them bypass their resistance and start seeing and thinking outside their box. It's like through conscious use of language, you help them realize that there is a solution to their problems, and also how this solution looks, sounds, and feels. What are your thoughts about this?
Oh yeah, that's the beauty about the resistance bands. And just if I'll elaborate, or not elaborate, but add to what Kallum was saying, when people have a resistance to move forward, and we're only using the concept, the industry of coaching right now, or NLP, someone's saying, no, I don't have the money, or someone's saying, no, I don't have the time, which are the two main objections in any business, but we'll specialize in the NLP industry or coaching industry. They're saying, I don't have the time or money. But if you were to ask them the question, if you had the time and money, would you attend? People always say yes. So that tells me that it's just a mindset that they're holding. You can never get back time. So what I like saying is that I could lose $10, but I could make 20 tomorrow. Yesterday is gone. I will never get back that time, but I will always be able to make more money. So taking that concept, and then the notion of it's not actually the objection, time and money are not the objection, it's actually their ability to create it in their life. But when they give an objection of time and money, it's a convenient and well-accepted way to communicate that I have resistance without actually getting too deep with the person. Whereas if you have rapport with someone and you've spent the time building that rapport and they tell you that they don't have the time or the money, you can then actually take it one step further and say something like, give me a Greek, what's a Greek name?
George.
George. I'd say, George, it's not that you don't have, you told me if you had the time and the money, you would attend, right? And George says, yes. I'd say, so it's not really the time and the money, because you can make more money tomorrow. And George will say, yes. So I would say, not that you don't have money, it's your ability to create money. And when George hears this, it's a massive shift in his thinking from like the block of I don't have money to, you know what, you're right, I just need to create more of it in my life. And it's a complete shift in thinking in order to grasp that. And if I've said the piece about the time, look, NLP is about growth. You wouldn't wait. Who says, I want to wait 6 months before I start going to the gym to get the body of my dreams? Who says that? No one says. So why would someone want to wait longer to feel better about themselves if they're in a position and a time in their life where they know they have more potential, they know they have more capabilities, and they're looking for the roadmap in order to get there? Why would you wait for that? So in my model of the world, similar with Cal, is that there is no why would you wait. We have a belief. Why would you wait? You wouldn't wait 6 months to go to the gym to get the body you want. Why would you wait any longer to move forward with yourself on the inside that will continually allow you to be prosperous on the outside of your life over and over and over again? And I guess when you can get to that point of a conversation with someone and you're having a real conversation, it comes down to how the connection, it comes down to the connection you have with them and how deep that rapport is. And when you can get there and you know how to navigate through that conversation and you bring it to their awareness that actually they can have it all, it's up here, how they view it, then that's often when their guard comes down and they feel like the future is bright again and they can move forward. And that's why Connect and Convert, which is our sales training, Callum and I have created the Forever Client Matrix, because we see that. We know that. We know it's not just numbers. It's people. So you telling me you don't have the time and money is not about time and money. It's actually, and you're telling me you want to do it, it's underneath, it's deeper than that. So it's our job to go there. And that's what we teach people at all our levels of trainings. And why do we create such successful businesses, or businesses who work with us become so successful? Because it's not just the numbers and figures. It's actually how to think and feel and drive that change with the people they work with.
And how to go deeper with each client so they can, see what they are capable of doing and thinking. Because even I know what you said now, like, the capability or the ability to make more money, you don't have that. Like, I've heard that before, and it still, when I listen to it and I hear it, it's like a shift again in my mind and again and again. Like, it's the power of language.
And what Cal said is absolutely right. It's a transaction. So it's a transaction and a transformation at the same time. That's what I was going. The learnings they get from moving forward. So they get the penny drops and they realize, you know what, I can do it if I create more of it. That learning they then apply to other areas of their life. It could be relationships. It could be communication with their family. It actually starts a domino impact, and it starts to have a positive impact in every area of their life, not just the financial side.
Kind of like having kids. You don't realize how much you can get done in a day until you have kids. And, you can't possibly know that until you make that decision. So it's like you step into this new environment and you make this new decision, and you can't possibly have all the learnings before you do that. So by exposing your neurology and your entire being to that new environment and to that new decision, then all of a sudden those opportunities, and you can call it the reticular activating system, which is like the more scientific way, or you can call it the unconscious mind, will start to select and delete, distort, and generalize your experience based on those new parameters that you've given it. So until you make that decision, though, until you create that new belief, until you have that new focus, or you've removed negative emotions or anxieties around that, you can't possibly know whether or not you can make more money or create more money. So often it's those decisions for me it was as well, to do a course that I really wanted to do, and it could be for anyone. It could, when I was younger, it was to go traveling. I didn't know that I could save the amount of money in the bank and keep it there for a long enough time to be able to go traveling until I decided that I wanted to go traveling. So what you're actually doing through those conversations, those initial conversations, when you're guiding people through those resistance bands, is you're actually helping them to see past what their current paradigm is. And in that, through the transformation experience that you take them through guiding them through those different phases of the Forever Client Matrix, you're actually redesigning their paradigm with them. And you started to talk about helping them to see things in their head. I'm a big believer that in order to create magnificence in your life, or even a specific goal, you first need to have a clear image on it in your head. And you can call that VAKOG or submodality representation, whatever you like. But really, we have found that even in our training, there's a little exercise where Connor gets somebody to describe something they haven't experienced or they haven't seen before. And then he gets a painting and tells them to describe the painting. And when the painting is right in front of them, they find it easy to describe every single piece and pixel of that entire picture. And when they do that, they find it easy to communicate, easy to articulate, and easy to express their vision. So our job as we're guiding people through those resistance bands is to help them recalibrate those images in their minds so that they're so clear. It's like watching a 4K TV screen. So it's so clear and clean that it's almost like they're putting a memory into the future. And that's what enables people to start to believe in the ability to attain the things that they've wanted in their life. And often they're just seeing life through an old lens, and they need to update it.
It's all about mental update. So let's talk now about the trademark of your program, the Forever Client Matrix. Please, if you want to give the listeners a brief overview of what this is and how it fits into your values as trainers.
Absolutely. Cal is the best explainer of the Forever Client Matrix.
The Forever Client Matrix is basically, like we've mentioned already, turning the transaction into a transformational experience, helping to break through barriers and disbelief that people have in that initial conversation so that they can feel like their dreams are possible again. And through that process, also believe that they're able to achieve the things that they've always wanted to achieve. But the most important part comes when you actually deliver on those promises as well. Through that deep level of rapport and through carrying them through those different resistant bands and finding out that thing that they're often not willing to admit to themselves. It can be quite uncomfortable at times for them to admit it. And we've all experienced that discomfort before when, change can be very uncomfortable when you change. And that's why we talk about the comfort zone so much in the trainings. But once you do that and you shift people off that stuck state and you show them that they can have movement and start to achieve those things, you actually create someone that's more than just a client to you. They're a forever client because there's so much trust and reliability with you that they want to extend their relationship with you. They actually want to be a client for life, and people become friends for life. Connor's been working with some people for over 20 years. Myself, I've been working with some people for over 10 years. So they become clients for life, and they become your biggest supporters. They become your biggest cheerleaders. And through that, they also start to refer to you like crazy. They start to tell they like all your posts, they comment on your posts, they tell people about you, they speak highly of their experience, they speak highly about how you deliver on your promises. And that referral process that begins and kicks in takes people from being a prospect to a forever client. And then the forever client creates more prospects, and the prospects create more forever clients. And why this is such a key point to point out is that there's such a churn and burn approach to gathering prospects and getting clients at the moment. Not just in our industry, but in so many different industries where people, it's just all about marketing. I don't care about quality. Just give me volume and I'll figure it out along the way. I'll book as many people in by making the promise high, and I'm not too worried about the delivery on the back end because we can just market, retarget people. We can remarket to people, and we'll just get another 1,000 names, and we'll continue that process. For us, we've had people sell us those marketing strategies, and we've never bitten on them because, again, coming back to putting people at the center of our business, it just didn't fit our framework. It didn't fit our model. So what the Forever Client Matrix does, when you apply it to every area of your business, from acquisition to converting and sales, to coaching and retention, to captivating and upgrading people in the training room, they end up referring people back. And those referrals become prospects, but they're high quality prospects. And then those people turn into forever clients. So it's this almost like this torsion field that keeps feeding itself in a positive way, and no energy is lost along the way. And sure, that's not to say that we don't still market, we don't still go after new leads or prospects. What it means is that the most of our community is built through people who have got success with us before. And it makes it much easier because all of those resistance bands are already dissolved. They've already disappeared. And that means that we're able to get better results with people because they trust us wholeheartedly. They know we're reliable and they trust us wholeheartedly. So the idea of the Forever Client Matrix was to give people a solution outside the hamster wheel of sales and marketing, sales and marketing, sales and marketing, sales and marketing. It was to describe a new framework and a model that, with Conor over his 20 years, me for the last 10, and our combined team, we've done over $100 million in sales of coaching and training room packages. And then if you take our wider network into consideration, it's probably close to 10 times that. So that isn't a result of getting 1,000 names landing in your email inbox every Monday and then having a call center of salespeople selling people over and over again. It's from putting clients at the center. It's putting people at the center, the human heartbeats, delivering on your promises, creating that sense of trust and reliability where people believe in themselves and are able to believe in themselves, support them the whole way through, and even support them. And this is where the Forever Client Matrix, people think it's just about sales and conversions. We still support people now where there's absolutely no money exchanging hands. And we do that freely because we know that that currency is way more valuable than dollars. That goodwill that we build is way more valuable than the dollar amount they could have given us for that time. And they spread the word rapidly. You know, we're more connected than ever. Word of mouth used to be one of the only ways that people got business. Now we've got the word of mouth spreading throughout the entire world through the internet, and people are building bigger and bigger communities. So that reputation is so important. But when you apply this methodology through those different areas and you over deliver each time and you make yourself available to people, you can build a really profitable business with this relatively small community. And it can be a business that is very supportive of a lifestyle that can also be great for your family, great for your partner, your friends, and the other things that you're interested in your life. And those constraints have been really important to us too, because our family's very high on our values list, if not at the top. And, you know, we want to see our kids grow. We want to spend as much time with them as we possibly can. Connor's dad worked a ton. My dad did the same. And we both have that inbuilt in us as well, but we want to be able to spend quality time with our kids and our wives and our friends and go traveling. We love traveling. So you can do all of that and have a business that replenishes itself. The Forever Clients Matrix is also, it's a mindset and a methodology. It's a way of thinking. It's a lens to look at the world through. It's a lens to look at your business through. And when you apply that Forever Client Matrix in every area of your business and make decisions through that lens, you create a forever business model. And that's what we do through our Connekt University inner circle community of coaches and trainers. And it's what lights us up. That's what gets us excited. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it's a great answer. And, you know, what I take from this, from the Forever Client Matrix is like how you can attract not only high probability clients, but high quality clients. Because I love quality. Quality is one of my values in my business. Like I want to offer quality. It's number one for me. So that also worked for me because it like unlocked something in my mind. And I focus like not probability, quality. also to look that in a potential client or customer. That's awesome, and I totally agree with what you shared with us today. If both of you could give our listeners one piece of advice they can adopt now, today, that would make a difference in their business today, what would that be?
I will use a quote by a famous hypnotherapist called Andre Müller-Wiesenhofer, and he said, the client will not actualize what the hypnotherapist does not believe to be true. So if you're working with anyone, you must believe it to be true that they can exceed their goals and expectations. Because if you don't hold it in your mind's eye, then the person you're working with will absolutely not do it. And that is included in the coaching session and in the sales interaction. If you can't see how someone can enroll and book into your coaching packages or trainings, then the likelihood of that person doing it is very, very low. So it comes from yourself first.
Great. Cal, do you have any piece of advice?
Yeah, look, I think that, for me, many people start their training and coaching businesses as a passion project, and they do it because they love, being able to help people change and transform. My biggest piece of advice is to look at what is it that you really want to get out of this, because whilst we've talked so much tonight about the client and, getting more of them, you really need to first understand what it is that you're wanting to get out of it and where you want to take this. Because some people are quite happy to run, one training a year or see, 3 or 4 clients a week. And that's great because it fits within their constraints and their lifestyle. So I guess my tidbit of advice, before you get too carried away with getting as many clients as you possibly can, first ask yourself, what type of business do I want and what type of life do I want? Because I thought early on that I just wanted to have, all the clients in the world and have no limits on that. But really at the end of the day, what's most important to me now is having my business and my life complement each other. And, I think that sometimes it can get away from us and we can create these grand businesses and then realize, oh my God, it's like so far down the road on this. I haven't sort of factored in, how my life fits into this. And I think that when I say people are at the center of our business, I also mean Conor and myself and our families. So I think that can also be a strength of yours as well, because with constraints, you can actually leverage those constraints and you can actually control the supply and demand of you and your services. And that can make you a lot more valuable. So I know it's not necessarily tying in with everything that we talked about tonight. It's something that's been on my mind quite a lot of late. And I think it's great to understand this early in your career when you're getting into this type of business, and knowing that your constraints don't have to be a limitation. For example, if you're a single mom and you've got kids and you want to create a coaching or training business, those obligations and that commitment you have to your family and doing it all on your own doesn't have to be your weakness. It can be your strength, because you can actually look at ways of leveraging your time and your commitments to actually make your time more valuable to your community. So yeah, slightly off topic tonight, but I think it's a really important thing to take away.
I think it expands the topic, and this is good. And thank you for this piece of advice. It was very important. Thank you, both of you. And I think we talked a lot of good stuff here. Please tell the listeners where they can find you and get in touch about your programs, and let everyone know what's coming up soon.
Eliana, thank you very much. People can find us. The best place to find us and the most active place to find us will be on Facebook. So look up Connekt Coaching, Connekt Coaching on Facebook. Also, our personal pages on Facebook are full of information, insights, and videos, as well as our business page. So search for Kallum, Kallum, Hock, Hock, and you get Connekt Coaching co-founder Kallum Hock. And my Facebook page is Conor, Conor, Healy, Healy. and you will be able to get in contact with us. You can see what we have coming up, see our videos, get plugged into our community. We also have a community, a private Facebook group that specializes in helping coaches and training schools grow their business. So it's full of free content. It's full of community-based questions. If someone will ask, I need a referral in America, I actually put a little post up. Someone wanted a referral for a sports performance coach in a particular part of America. People are connecting, sharing introductions about themselves, and it's a really rich community, particularly for coaches and training schools who really want to make a difference in the world.
Yeah, so that group that Connor's talking about is called Business Advice for Building and Growing Your Training School. That's Business Advice for Building and Growing Your Training School on Facebook. And we have a lot of great stuff on there. We also have Connekt Coaching on YouTube, where we have our podcast. If you want to listen to us, we often have guests from all around the world, and they're trainers and coaches. So listen into that as well.
What we highly recommend your listeners do, if they want to make a difference in their business and make a difference and make a bigger impact in the world, then come and attend our next Connect and Convert 2-day sales mastery training. And that is coming up on Thursday and Friday, the 14th and 15th of March, 2024. There is if you contact us, or we put the link in the description, there'll be a special link for Eliana's audience, and we will absolutely look after you. And we would love to have you. And when you attend, you also get a free recording of the training. So you get a recording of the training that you can rewatch and make sure that you get everything that training has to offer, because there is a lot in there. And watching it a couple of times will guarantee that you're going to change your trajectory in your business and give you certainty for the future for your business growth and therefore your client growth.
Thank you, guys. I will have all your links in the description. But thanks for the spelling, Conor. It was nice to hear it. So anyone listening who is interested, go there to learn more. Once again, thank you so much, Kallum and Conor and Kallum, and I hope you enjoyed the Greek hospitality. And
It was amazing.
if you ever come to Greece, I will be more than happy to show you where you can get the best Greek burrito. Conor, I heard you calling our souvlaki. I think it was on Arthur's podcast. like a Greek burrito. But I know the best Greek burrito here.
Is it the gyros? Is it called a gyros?
Euros, yes.
Yeah. I have this funny story. Walking home from a bar in Eos, eating this amazing gyros. It was honestly the best thing that I'd ever had in my life. And we were going down this big hill. Actually, I was by myself. And as we were walking down the hill, I was just in such a blissful state eating this gyros. I was just so amazed by how delicious it was. I saw this little path that went off the road a little bit, and it looked like it was a shortcut. And as I walked down it, I quickly realized that I was literally walking off a ledge that was 5 meters high, and I fell 5 meters onto the road. But yeah, that was all because of how delicious your food is over there. So I can't wait to get back and eat without the cliff fall.
Yeah.
Did I say souvlaki? That's classic.
Yeah, souvlaki, okay, it's also correct. And Greek burrito, it's something I've never had before, and I was so excited when I heard that. So thank you so much, guys. Signing off for now, and see you soon.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Αυτή ήταν η συζήτησή μας με τον Conor και τον Kallum. Εύχομαι να σας άρεσε και να την βρήκατε διαφωτιστική. Θα έχω όλα τα σχετικά links του εκπαιδευτικού τους κέντρου Connekt Coaching από τη μακρινή Αυστραλία, αλλά και στο ψηφιακό κόσμο δεν υπάρχουν αποστάσεις, στην περιγραφή του επεισοδίου. Όσοι θέλετε να λάβετε μέρος στο σεμινάριό τους Connect and Convert, που έχει να κάνει με τις πωλήσεις, κάντε γραφή. Το έχω κάνει, είναι σπουδαίο σεμινάριο. Νιώθω τόσο μεγάλη τιμή που 2 από τους μέντορές μου αποδέχτηκαν την πρόσκλησή μου να κάνουμε μαζί αυτό το επεισόδιο. Και πραγματικά είναι η πρώτη φορά που δημόσια θα πω μπράβο στον εαυτό μου. Εύχομαι να σας άρεσε και ακούγοντάς το σήμερα να βλέπετε τα πράγματα διαφορετικά, έστω και λίγο. Ακολουθήστε με σε Instagram και TikTok και τα δύο είναι με το username Athens NLP. Μπείτε στο site μας για να δείτε τα υπέροχα προγράμματα και υπηρεσίες μας, θα έχω όλα τα σχετικά links από κάτω. Όσοι θέλετε περισσότερες πληροφορίες για όσα κάνω και διδάσκω, επικοινωνήστε μαζί μου στο info@athensnlp.gr, κάντε εγγραφή και ακολουθήστε το κανάλι μας σε YouTube και Spotify, κάντε like και αφήστε σχόλιο με το πώς σας φάνηκε το σημερινό επεισόδιο. Αν έχετε απορίες ή θέλετε να σας μιλήσω για κάποιο άλλο θέμα, γράψτε σχόλια από κάτω ή στείλτε μήνυμα στο Instagram Athens NLP. Και σε όσους αρέσουν τα επεισόδια NLP Talks, βάλτε 5 αστεράκια στο Spotify για να ανέβει το podcast και να με βοηθήσετε να σας βοηθάω καλύτερα και αποτελεσματικότερα, φέρνοντας πάντα ενδιαφέροντες και αξιόλογους ανθρώπους στα αυτιά σας. Ευχαριστώ πολύ και πάλι όσες και όσους φτάσατε μέχρι εδώ, να έχετε ένα υπέροχο πρωινό, απόγευμα ή βράδυ από όπου στον κόσμο και αν με ακούτε. Σας στέλνω την αγάπη μου και τα λέμε την επόμενη φορά. Γεια σας!